All right, crazy people in the metaverse and the universe and the cyberverse and the rehearse your verse for your money to, all the stupid shit we're still doing. Okay, well, we're not still doing it. You're still doing it. I'm not doing it. I'm just like surviving it, going, survive, stop, eliminate, abuse, recover. Okay. Cool song, huh? I have to play this for the kiddos. I don't think any of them ever heard it. No, I don't think Elijah, Jordan, Isaac, even the Aviar kids have heard this song, man. Somebody like, y'all ain't heard Rock On by David Essex? Damn, I'm sorry. It was a cool tune. It's one of the coolest tunes in the 70s. You don't think so? I thought it was. I'm like, this is a very, 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 very cool song. Cooler than Fonzie's Like in Fast Domino? Yeah. Well, I don't know. Fast Domino's pretty cool, especially Blueberry Hill's not my, but no. Everybody knows Earl's favorite. Well, I don't really have a favorite, but my two that I prefer the most, I guess, is I do like walking to New Orleans too. Yeah, I'm walking, yes indeed, and I'm talking about you and me, and I'm hoping that you'll come back to me. What you gonna do when the railroad's right? I like that one, and I like it. Walk, he wants to walk you home. He do lots of walking. You'd think he would be leaner, right? You're like, why he so fat? Walking to New Orleans, walk you home. I'm walking. You would think that brother wouldn't be quite so damn fat if he actually did the walking he sang about, right? Shit, I mean, god dang, what's wrong with these people? Don't sing about it, do it, damn it, do it. Money ain't real, get up and walk. Walk to New Orleans, tell the girl, hey, I want to walk you home, and then we'll keep walking the fat off so we don't get heart disease and die when we're young, right? Right? You're funny. Walking shouldn't be painful. Okay? And it shouldn't be forced. You shouldn't be forced marched. You shouldn't be murdered by selfish people with ego problems trying to be cool, right? So, right? So if you want to walk somewhere, it should be, like 20 Mile Woman, right? Toni Morrison, right? Yeah. Like 20 Mile Woman, right? Uphill, both ways, in the snow. No, Tara was a 10-mile girl, and it was only uphill going home. And it wasn't 10 miles from, because I'd usually walk there after school, which was only probably about 3 miles away. But the school was about 7 miles from our house, and our house was uphill. So technically, that made her a 13-mile girl, right? Ain't gonna try to be all dramatic like Bill Cosby, walk to school both ways, 20 miles uphill, right? It's 13 miles. And that's when I first started having my conversations with a man named Little Hawk. Yeah. And I would be like, this is cold shit. And he'd be telling me, yeah. And then he'd start telling me about, I'd be like, get out of here. It's like, no, really. I fell in love with this Cheyenne girl who was about 3 years older than me, 3 or 4 years older than me. So I was too young when she became of courting age to be taken seriously. I'm like, I get it. I had the same crush on Lola Falana, Nichelle Nichols, and TV ain't real. I know. But so, who did I have a crush? Well, when I was younger, I had a crush on Jerry. Well, you obviously, right? Jerry's sister Loretta. She's so pretty, right? So anybody with any good taste had a crush on her when you were young. She's so pretty, and she's still sweet and nice, And we got to make sure that the world is a beautiful place for her and her husband's kids and grandkids and great-grandkids and great-great-great on, you know what I'm saying? And that's essential. If you guys don't do that, if you can't, like remember what I said with the kids in a lockup in Wyoming, and Charlie, the cowboy from Wyoming, was like, yeah, and Nate, the Navy SEAL, this guy's an idealist, he gets people killed. He sat there and didn't want to hire me. Charlie was like, no, we need to hire this guy. The guy sits there and says, well, I just believe that if you don't have the same hopes, dreams, and aspirations for other people's children as you do your own, you're a failure as a human being. And Charlie sat there. He left the house. He went to another house. He couldn't work with Nate. Nate was an asshole. He abused the kids. And I didn't have that luxury. I didn't have the connections in the community and the time and service at that school to get up and go, hey, I want to go to that house too. I don't want to work with this asshole. Right? And Nate was an asshole. He talked people into sexually predicating on my bipolar wife because I confided in him that I had to believe that these kids can get better and do better because I have the same issues at home. Because we're supposed to have each other's backs. But apparently Navy SEALs ain't trained to do that. So, my job, my house, you show me your weaknesses, I'm going to take advantage of those weaknesses. You show me your weaknesses and I'm going to protect your weaknesses so people can't take advantage of your weaknesses. Well, I talked to Little Hawk in prayer, right? So no water, okay? And you got to understand, Nate Reynolds comes from the people that tried to hunt down and kill Crazy Horse, Chief Joseph, and all my friends I talked to in prayer. And I didn't talk to Casper Collins in prayer. Little Hawk did. And when I get little Casper Collins, the man who was sexually involved with the woman that Little Hawk loved, he sat there. When Collins brought the Bible and tried to teach him the ways how to be civilized, right? He had a portrait drawn in the front of the back of the Bible of Jesus Christ. And Little Hawk told him, that's my spirit guide. He talks to me. He comes and he talks to me and he tells me about these people and how they are not like him, but they claim to be like him. Right? And Collins went and told his superiors. And they're like, oh shit, take comme ça. Take comme ça, all right? Uh-oh, we got to get rid of this one. He's dangerous. And the Custers knew that, especially Tom Custer. Custer, through Collins, tried to befriend Little Hawk and Crazy Horse. Okay. And, no. Crazy Horse didn't talk to him. Little Hawk, they came and talked to, And they were convinced, and they told everybody, he's the biggest threat to the United States Army taking over the Plains and the Plains Indians. It's this 13, 14-year-old boy. He's special, right? And the Lakota say that too. And the Glala, the Crazy Horse was, our white buffalo and our defender and our protector. But the one who was the spiritual guide that was supposed to save us from the mass murder of all the white people was Little Hawk. So the Custers got together and conspired with No Water and Red Cloud and the others to assassinate him and He Dog. And he knew they were going to be betrayed and assassinated by their own people. And I talked to him about it, but He Dog, the same thing. When He Dog told me the story of Man Sanders' book, here's what went down, right? And he would tell me. And he sat there and he said, we were going out there. And I said, yeah, they're going to shoot you in the back. Or they're going to kill you when you put your bullet to your teeth. Yeah. That's a good day to die. You think I'm going to let some storytelling, little Stephen King, Christine, Sleepwalkers, Carrie, ass motherfucker? You think I'm going to let Green Mile and Shawshank Redemption raise the kids to be a man who will stand to protect the children from storytellers that scare them before they even get out of their teepee in the morning? Hooah! High Hump, right? So High Hump died that day. And then Little Hawk knew, okay, shortly after that, he was next, right? And he wouldn't be there to protect his brother from being betrayed and assassinated by No Water and Red Cloud. Same thing happened with Sitting Bull, right? Politically ambitious, selfish people who saw the white man's money as a way to survive their hell, betrayed all the men that said money ain't real, but life is. And the spirit guide for Little Hawk confirms that, right? He's true. Hooah! He's truthful. He never lies to me in prayer. He always tells me the truth about the people that say they're like him, but they're not, that look like him, but they're not like him, right? Gorgeous stuff, right? So when beautiful people pray to beautiful people, the prayers are eternally real. And all the stories that people share that are not part of the stories, and people, no, I talk to Tishna, I talk to Fun. He talks to me, I always connected because my sister had a real thing about Nache and Galatle, Geronimo. But I didn't like Geronimo very much. I always gravitated more toward Nache, the son of Cochise, right? And then I didn't trust Galatle. I thought he was selfish. He murdered people and bragged about it. Nache did not. Okay, Cochise did not. And so fun when I read The Days of Victoria and James Gueleka's book, okay, I Love You, I Feed You, and about Kinete and Tishna, fun. And I said, okay, those are my guys, right? And then when I was in Cochise County, when the time was right, here he comes, all 5'2" of them or whatever. Little bitty guy. He wasn't little, no, he was strong. He was short in stature, but he was big in spirit. He was fun. There were men in the tribe 6 feet tall that when Tishna came into the village, hey, not beating that wife, huh? I saw you fuck that Mexican girl in Mexico. Don't you cut her nose off. Lozon taught me well, right? So, and they wouldn't fuck with him. He'll take you right off at the knees. Okay. What? He didn't tell them he was going to fight, but he wasn't going to be bullied by them. And if they tried to bully, he would make sure they would never bully again. That's exactly what Tishna would tell a bully in the Chiricahua tribe. Mescalero, Jicarilla, White Mountain, didn't matter. I have a knife in my hand, and I'm squatted. Let's go. I'm ready. Come at me. It's not gonna end well for any of them. They knew that. Okay? He was swifter, he was more precise, and the strength of all the faithful flowed through his veins. Guy would come at him, flip, boom. Ah! How many men thought they lost their honor and had to leave the people because they wanted to rape and pillage and thought, I can take this little fucking 5'2" guy. Which reminds you a lot of a man that I've talked to in prayer occasionally, not very much. But you get certain stories. No, I've talked to Bruce. He told me things differently, like I told you that one day. You mean I could sit there and kick them? Why would you want to knock that wall down? All it does is keep the rain and the snow off you and Zeke. Why are you going to destroy something that takes care of you and your dog to impress a bunch of assholes that want to kill you and your dog because they're jealous of you? Right. Hey, you've been reading Judah Krishnamurti, right? You've been reading D.T. Suzuki, right? So yeah, we had brief conversations, not very many. Just like with Malik, Bruce was murdered shortly after the conversation. Same with Tupac and Guru. We didn't get a lot of time to spend a lot of time talking. It was during their persecution, their murder, and their death. Well, Nelson Rockefeller. We want to know what we're doing 50 years in advance. So every time I made good connections to help people through, they would trace the connections through their Wi-Fi at Fort Huachuca and the CIA, and they were following them anyway. But they would know, okay, they're making this, so they sit there, okay? Denzel and Spike Lee don't know what they're doing. They don't know what they're talking about, okay? Those classified documents and conversations that no longer exist. Yeah, me and Malik, briefer conversations with Bruce. It was a radically different, Bruce had a, kind of understanding, but it was so mythologically fucked up and all that. Malik delved into it deeply, the same way Little Hawk did, and the same way Tishna did. Life's eternal grace is infinite. Eternal stories of faithful ones are very serious. Hua, Inju, right? They're very serious, quite serious. This man is the light in the way to faithful love, courage, and peace. Hua, hua, right? Inju, this is true, right? And so, Washde, Sego, see? Hello, I know you. I see you. Okay? You're my family. I feed you. I love you. Mexico, Tenochtitlan. Right? Just because Montezuma was a murdering asshole doesn't mean Cuauhtémoc was a murdering asshole. Right? Okay? Just because Herod was a murdering asshole doesn't mean Jesus was. Just because Caiaphas was a sellout and a liar because he wanted to be powerful and manipulative doesn't mean John the Baptist was, right? Okay? Just because Moses and Pharaoh's family were cousins doesn't mean Moses is a monument building, throw babies to crocodiles to feel powerful and become a god after they die in the sky. Asshole, right? Right? Good song, huh? Yeah, I really like Little Anthony of the Imperials too. So, Earl, constantly working. Hardest working man in the history of Inja show business, right? I'm the hardest working man alive. Okay? There were there other John, cave in North Africa. You know? That young man, okay? When he was my age, I was 15, okay? He was walking from the Fort Laramie all the way to the Bighorn Valley to go be near the woman he loved. They only got to spend, they murdered him, I think, when he was 17. And Casper Collins died when he was like 15. So he got 2 years in her teepee, living as man and wife. And they all talked about what a bad person she was because everybody she seemed to have a relationship ended up getting killed by all the jealous people. And that's what they do, you know. She's not wildflower, she's wildfire, right? Everything she touches burns up and dies. She doesn't grow flowers, she kills. Her love is death, right? Because jealous men will kill to have sex with her and claim her as a prize. Right? That's horrible. Yeah. Seems to me you lived your life like a candle in the wind. Never knowing who to turn to when the rain set in. Would have liked to know you, but I was just a kid, you know. So it was nice having that connection to Harold Nicholas and Bayard Nicholas, though. That made me really look at because I always admired them when I was young, and I thought, what the fuck happened between him and Dorothy Dandridge? And I sit and look at it, and oh god, Cow Boogie, Zoot Suits, Mr. BB, you know, marketing. You have to do this, pay your bills, all the hell people have to go through. You know, and there's very rare. Okay, Judah Krishnamurti and Taro Suzuki are very rare. Okay, Haile Selassie is very rare. Okay, Bob Marley's a rare human being. Right? We're only like 1% of the population throughout time. The ones that are called to the faithful conversation to step up and do that which is right, to protect the innocent from the guilty. Right, and so. There are very few of us. You know, most of us will cling to magical thinking to physically stay alive and survive, to wait for that day when the Messiah's love is pervasive all across the world because of the devices of the devil and Satan invented to try to keep the light in the way, run over in the parking lot of a Best Buy off of Loman in Las Cruces, New Mexico, right? So, you know, he's an exceptional human being, and he's eternally beautiful. And the reflection of his face, okay, lets you know, oh, it's him. He looks like, says in the Bible, he looks like Son of Man. And they didn't corrupt that perception. And then when it happened, they had no intention on honoring that agreement, that covenant, which is obvious. I thought it was going to happen during the Obama administration. I surely did. I thought it was going to happen by the time Barack left office. I thought he was going to get up and say something, and we were going to, instead of thanking the people that sexually compromised and assaulted and abused my family, I thought he was going to call them on their crap, and we were going to be best friends, and then I was going to get to meet Jennifer Lopez and be all nervous. She's so pretty, Well, because, he left, and what was it? Was it like 2017? Is that when we got Don Juan the Trumpa? Yeah, so, I thought for sure, that I was going to, I was in good shape then, But they thought my brain activity was going in a way that they thought was unstable. So, what is that noise? What are you guys doing? It's a bird. It's doing something up on the roof over to the tree. And I heard it. I was like, what's the deal here? Well, I cleaned off everything. That roof is clean. Even it's weird because it rained today, and the spot where it typically leaks, it ain't leaking. So I'm wondering, did I like push some dirt into it while I blew off the roof? I don't know what I did, but it ain't leaking there today. We'll check it tomorrow. Okay. So, yeah, it's right over here, but it's dry. Oh, it's Patrick's. Jippy Kings. Triste. Yeah, Patrick loves these guys. I think it comes from he has Iberian connections on both sides of the family. And so those are probably the most consistent and most strong. Because my grandma, you know, being the dark Jew that was persecuted and moved, you know, and then went up to Germany. And his mother's family, you know, the biological father being Moroccan and stuff. So, you know, that has strong ties to the Iberian Peninsula too. So he's very, you know, and the way that kid used to sit there and listen to Barcelona Nights, he'd clap his hands and set in his heels, and I'd be like, that little guy knows his flamingo, man. He knows what to do. He knows what's going on. I didn't teach him that or show him. There was no videos back then. We didn't have the videos. I just had the CDs. Dad, I heard Jippy Kings. I heard Jippy King. I put it on, and he was like, wow. He knows his heritage. Just like when he told me about Geronimo and being a Buffalo Soldier in Cochise County and how rough it was dealing with the Apache, and how, you know, so many of his friends and his brethren, you know, died during that campaign when he was like 3.5. And I just sat there, and being an intelligent father, I just encouraged him to tell me and go, wow. And everybody, oh, they programmed that in him. Really? How come your kids aren't as intelligent as mine? Why didn't they take the time to program your children to be as intelligent and in tune to their eternal existence as, you know, my kids? Quilica. No, try harder. I feed you, I love you. Let the people know you care. Let the people know you love them. You're the eternal spirit of the gracious good shepherd. Let the people know. Inju.